I had leftover roast. I had about a 2-pound chuck roast, and I cooked it yesterday in the crock pot, and I made a dish, which I'm posting that one to you, with elbow macaroni, red and green bell peppers, onions, and mixed together, and some cheese with it. And I took half the roast, and I saved it for today, and I didn't add it to the crock pot until after I had cooked the onions. I took about a medium onion, and I sliced it up. I cut it in half, then I did slices, and then I put it, you can caramelize the onions first and put it in the pot, the crock pot, and then add your broth. I had leftover broth from the roast, and what I did, I took the broth from the roast I cooked yesterday in the crock pot, put it in the refrigerator, and this morning I skimmed off the fat off the top of it. Then I added it to the crock pot. Then I added the onions, and I let it cook at about 6 hours on 1 hour on high, about 5 hours on low. And then I just now added the roast, and I have more roast left over besides this. And then next I'll add mushrooms, which I like the fresh mushrooms in the box, the whole ones. But my husband likes canned mushrooms in this soup. I don't, but I'm going to do it for him. And then he'll use some, I'll use Swiss cheese, and French bread we use a small amount. I hollow most of it out, and I make like garlic bread because he is on insulin, so he doesn't get much bread. So that's how I do the bread. And I break mine up and put it into the soup, and some Swiss cheese. He uses mozzarella. Okay, back in a minute. I forgot to say I shredded the roast beef. Oh my gosh, the taste of this. Oh, I did add quite a bit of garlic powder. If you like garlic, and salt and pepper, you can add whatever you like for seasoning. This is a really rich soup. I mean, you know, I think I put with the broth, I added 2 more cups of water yesterday. And so it's enough for 2 people to have quite a bit of soup. You probably could get 3 people out of it. Or you can add more water, and you can add more onions and more of the roast, which I have more roast left, about a quarter of it left. And you could feed 4 people. But I used a 4-quart crock pot. And this was easy, 2 meals in 2 days out of 1 2-pound roast. And it is delicious. Okay, back soon. So I took the end pieces off the French bread, and I hollowed it out. And then I added some margarine. You can add whatever you want, butter or margarine. And then I used garlic powder, because that way I can control the amount of salt I use. And then I added just a tiny bit of salt, but I'll put this under the broiler. And after it's done, the soup will be ready. I added my husband's canned mushrooms, 1 can of mushrooms, to the soup. Like I said, I like the whole raw ones, and if you're going to use those, you need to put those in at least an hour or a little more longer, hour and a half, before the soup's done, so they're cooked. But the canned ones, they don't take but a few minutes to heat up. Okay, back in a minute. So here's my husband's bowl of soup. It's a nice beefy, oniony broth, rich broth, with mushrooms. And I don't know why he uses mozzarella cheese, but he likes it. And here's his hollowed out piece of bread he gets, because he can't have much bread. And he can just break pieces of that, put it in there. And he puts his mozzarella and lets it melt, kind of. But I don't like that, because it ends up in thick pieces. It's hard to chew. I like Swiss cheese in mine. And I put my Swiss cheese on at the last, because I don't want it to melt all the way down the soup, and it just changes the taste of the broth a little. So I just add my bread and a little bit of Swiss cheese on the top. Okay, I'll show a picture soon. I just finished supper, and I forgot to put a video on of my bowl with my Swiss cheese and bread. A lot of people use a ramekin or an oven-safe bowl, and they put the French onion soup in that, and then they put the bread down in it and the cheese on top and put it in the broiler. But I just do it. I just put it in at the last myself. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you try this. It's easy and it's so yummy. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.